Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss a topic of animal behavior, which is the hormonal control of behavior. Before starting that topic, we will study what are hormones. Hormones are the chemical molecules that are released from special types of glands which are known as endocrine glands. So you know that there are two types of glands in our body. One is the exocrine gland, for example, the saliva glands, the salivary glands which secrete their secretions through specialized ducts. Now these endocrine glands, they do not have any ducts, they are also known as the ductless glands, and their secretions are known as hormones, and they are directly poured into the blood streams. So these hormones, they affect a variety of functions in our body, and they also doing whatever functions they are attributed to. The hormones also are responsible for certain types of behaviors. They are responsible for eliciting certain kinds of behaviors in our body. So what are these hormones? When we talk about these hormones, we'll basically deal with a few hormones, and majority of them will be adrenaline, thyroxine, testosterone, estrogen. These four hormones are basically the ones that exert more effects on the behavior. So now when we discuss about the different types of endocrine glands which are foremost in affecting the behavior, we will consider pituitary gland. The pituitary gland, which is also known as the master gland, it is situated in the brain. It is known as the master gland because it affects the functioning of the other endocrine glands. Moreover, the pituitary is now not considered to be a master gland because it itself is regulated by secretions from another organ which is known as the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is also situated in the brain as well. So pituitary is one gland which affects behavior by affecting many other hormones, many other glands also, and directly also. So directly the hormones of pituitary gland will affect behavior, and as well it will affect other glands also, which will then elicit the behavior we are talking about. Then the next is the gonads. The gonads are the organs which produce gametes. So in addition to producing gametes, these gonads, that is testes in males and ovaries in females, they also secrete certain hormones which are affecting the sexual behavior and related behavior in these organisms. So we'll talk about these later on. And then there is another gland which is the adrenal gland. It also affects behavior. Adrenal gland is composed of two types of glands, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla, and both of them secrete various types of hormones, and they are also responsible for behavior in organisms including vertebrates and human beings. The next endocrine gland is placenta. Placenta, as you must be knowing, you have read about it in the developmental biology section. So placenta is a tissue which is made by the combination of two types of tissues. One is from the maternal tissue, the endometrium of the uterus, and the other is the fetal tissue, the fetus. Okay, so these both of them combine to form the placenta. Placenta is the organ which is responsible for the nutrition, excretion and respiration of the growing fetus. And the animals that bear the placenta are known as the placental mammals. It is only found in the vertebrates, especially the mammals which are the placental mammals. Now we can discuss one by one. The pituitary hormones. The pituitary gland is composed of two types of parts. One is the anterior pituitary and the other is the posterior pituitary. The anterior pituitary secretes around 7 hormones. They are known as the tropic hormones. The tropic hormones are the ones which affect other glands. They have effect on other glands. For example, the anterior pituitary secretes the follicle stimulating hormones. The follicle stimulating hormones is responsible for the production of ovum in the females, and it is responsible for the production of spermatozoa in the males. So in fact, it is related to the gamete production in males as well as in females. So if you go by the name, you see the name follicle stimulating hormone, you must not think that it is related to only follicles or it is functional only in females. No, not that is not the case. It is found in both the male and females, and it is functional in both the males as well as females. The next hormone is luteinizing hormone. Again, the name would create confusion. You would say that luteinizing hormone must work only in the female. So it does work in the female, where it stimulates the corpus luteum. What is corpus luteum? Corpus luteum is formed by the degrading, when after the ovulation, the covering of the follicular cells which are surrounding the egg, and when the egg has been expelled out during ovulation, the rest of the remaining portion of the follicle, which is of the mainly of the follicle cells, it will create the corpus luteum, the yellow body. The corpus luteum will now secrete hormone progesterone under the influence of luteinizing hormone from the pituitary, from the anterior pituitary. So this corpus luteum will now secrete progesterone, which is known as the pregnancy maintaining hormone. So the secretion of sex hormones, the secretion of estrogen, progesterone in females, and the secretion of testosterone in males is under the influence of these two anterior pituitary hormone, FSH and LH, and also the related sexual behavior in males as well as the females. While the posterior pituitary produces two types of hormones, the vasopressin, which is also known as the antidiuretic hormone, and another one which is known as oxytocin. Okay, so oxytocin and vasopressin are the two posterior pituitary hormones. Vasopressin is related to maintenance of blood pressure in our body and the maintaining the level of water in our body by absorbing the water in distal convoluted tubules in kidneys. So in the presence of vasopressin, it is also known as the ADH or the antidiuretic hormone, the distal convoluted tubule will absorb more water and the urine will become concentrated. So it is also one hormone which is affecting behavior. So next we will consider the adrenal hormone. Adrenal hormone, as you can see here, so this is the location of the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is situated over the kidneys. Renal means kidney. So there are two kidneys. So there are two adrenal glands, a pair of adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are composed of two types of tissues or two types of different types of glands, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex is again regulated by ACTH, which is the adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is secreted by the anterior pituitary. So anterior pituitary would secrete ACTH. ACTH will move in the blood. ACTH will reach the adrenal gland. In the adrenal cortex, adrenocortical cells will get stimulated and they will start secreting various, around 28 in number, steroid hormones. So these steroid hormones, basically most important of them are cortisols and cortisones. They will aid in metabolism. They will influence metabolism and they will provide resistance to infection. Next, adrenal medulla, which is the inner part of the adrenal gland. You can see if you cut a section of the adrenal gland, you will see that outward is cortex and inwards is medulla. So adrenal medulla produces two types of hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. You must have heard the names adrenaline and noradrenaline. And adrenaline is a quite common word, and you sometimes you use the phrase to indicate aggression, and you say that you have an adrenaline rush. So when you are doing something exciting and you are doing something which is adventurous, you have that adrenaline rush. So it is the same hormone which is responsible for those reactions, and the same hormone which is responsible for stress reactions in our body, which are known as the fight or flight reactions. So the fight and flight reactions you must be knowing. For example, if you come, say hypothetically, you come across a lion, what will you do? If you see a lion, you're going somewhere and you see a lion, what will you do? You will try to fight with the lion. If you are feeling, if some of you may be very brave, and you might try to fight a lion, and some of you might want to flight. You would like to flee away from that position to save yourself. So both of these reactions, whether we are going to fight or flight, we are going to run away from that situation, it depends on these hormones, and these are known as the stress hormones. So it is a emergency situation in our body. So all the emergency situations in our body are dealt with by the stress hormone, which is known as the adrenaline hormone. So how does it affect the body? So the adrenaline levels in the body, what are the indicators of the high adrenaline? For example, if you are feeling a stressful situation, you come across a lion, or if you are having your exam, you are equally stressed out as if a lion, and you have faced a lion. So these are the reactions what your body will have will be the same. So high adrenaline in your body will show increased heart rate. You can see that when you suddenly your exam is announced, or you have reached the examination hall, or you have seen, or you are exposed to some external situation which is very frightful for you, your heartbeat increases, you start sweating, and you are very anxious, anxiety is there, and all of these make you highly alert. So your alertness is very high, and it is part of our body's emergency reaction or fight or flight response. On the other hand, if you have a low adrenaline in your body, you will feel fatigue, you will have low blood pressure, you will feel weakness, and you will not be able to respond to these stressful situations if you come across such stressful situations, emergency situations. Now next, the other hormone which is related to expression, or which is related to producing behavior, is the testosterone. The testosterone hormone is linked to aggression. It is also linked to dominance behavior in multitude of organisms, including humans. You might have seen that any species, if you come across any species, the male of that species, you will see that it is more aggressive, it is more dominant than the female. So it has been concluded by many experiments, many observations, that testosterone is the hormone which is responsible for aggressive behavior as well as for the dominance behavior. And it also affects libido, which is the sexual drive, and the other associated sexual behaviors like mating, copulation, and courtship before that. All these behaviors are controlled by testosterone. So there are certain examples which I am going to cite here. What is a capon? A capon is it is a cock from a cock whose testosterone, who does not have which is a castrated, a capon is a castrated cock. So this capon could neither crow, it would not crow, and it will not even show courtship behavior like mounting on the female, because it does not have any male hormone. So that means the male hormone or testosterone is the one which is responsible for courtship behavior. It is responsible for the crowing behavior of the male. So similarly, there is a bird, male parakeet. You must have seen the parakeets. They are similar to parrots. They show loud singing, and they also show courtship behavior only when they have enough amount of testosterone in them. So similarly, the male rats will only copulate successfully when they have enough testosterone in them. It is also has been seen in experiments that if a vertebrate female is experimentally provided with male and with androgens or testosterone, it starts showing male sexual behavior. For example, a hen will start showing male behavior. It will behave like a cock. It will start showing male courtship movements like a cock, and it will even start to crow like a cock if it is given enough amount of testosterone in its diet. So here you can see the testes. They are found inside the scrotum, which are responsible for the production of testosterone. Also, testosterone has been shown. It has been shown in certain frogs and in certain lizards that after gonadotomy, after removal of gonads, so when the gonads are removed, male frogs and male lizards, they do not show any mating behavior. It is entirely eliminated. Also, you must have seen that any juvenile of any species does not show any sexual behavior. So juveniles or the young ones, they do not show any sexual behavior. That means the sexual behavior is only elicited when enough testosterone starts to build up after puberty, after the testis grows and it starts secreting testosterone, that sexual behavior is elicited. Eversole, in 1941, Eversole was a scientist who treated immature male guppies, and then when they were treated with testosterone, they started producing normal, mature sexual behavior. That means they showed precocious sexual characters. So testosterone also has been linked to a behavior in which the male can recognize the female. So mate recognition, the recognition of possible mate for copulation is also a behavior which is done by testosterone. So Tevolga in 1950, what he did, he castrated goblet fishes, and then he was able to prove that after castration, goblet fish could not discriminate a male fish from a female fish, and they would start courting or start trying to copulate with a male fish only. Another type of behavior, which is maternal behavior, is also a result of different types of hormones which are released from the female sexual organs. Here you can see the ovary, and you can see that the ovaries are paired, found on the either side of the uterus. Ovaries will release estrogen as well as progesterone. While prolactin hormone is secreted by anterior pituitary. Progesterone is the one which I was talking about earlier on. It is secreted by corpus luteum. After corpus luteum is the body which is produced after ovulation, and also placenta in placental female. So placental mammals, females, they will start secreting progesterone after the placenta has been formed. And prolactin is secreted, as you know, by the anterior pituitary. Testosterone. Now this is one surprising factor, that testosterone also is responsible for maternal behavior. We'll see how. In doves, it was seen in doves that progesterone secretion was responsible for the start of incubation behavior in the females doves. So they will only respond to progesterone, and then only they will start incubating the eggs. So if the level of the progesterone is low, the female will not sit over the eggs. It will stop its incubating behavior. Similarly, in hen also, prolactin is the hormone which is responsible for incubation behavior. It was reported in certain birds, phalarops and dotterel, that females secreted more testosterone by their ovaries. Ovaries will secrete testosterone, and the quantity of testosterone in females would be more than in males, where in the males the testosterone is secreted by the testis, but the quantity of testosterone in females is more. And what happens in general, testosterone especially in the birds, it would give rise to more colored plume, more brightly colored feathers, which would attract the females, and the female would select the male according to the brightly colored feathers. So which, if the bird has brightly colored feather, it will prove that it has got more testosterone, and the female would choose a brightly colored mate over the less brightly colored. But what happens in dotterels and phalarops? Here the testosterone is more in females. The females are definitely the ones who will court, and since the male has less testosterone, it will be the dull colored person. It would be the dull colored part. The female will then lay egg in the nest which was built by male. The male having less testosterone will show the nesting behavior. It will build the nest. The female would come in the nest. It will lay the eggs, and then the male would be left to raise the young. Okay, the male would be left to incubate and to raise. So it is now the testosterone. You can see that the testosterone concentration is related to maternal behavior. Also, it was seen in a female rabbit that only if the ratio of estrogen and progesterone was fixed to, for example, 1:4,000, then only the female will show the nest building behavior. And if this ratio drops to the tune of 1:400, the female will stop building the nest. It will not build nest anymore. That means the progesterone is the increased concentration of progesterone is responsible for the maternal behavior in rabbits. Bok in 1928 and Bagerman in 1957 also reported such types of behavior, but here the hormone responsible for the maternal behavior was testosterone. So you must have heard about the stickleback fishes. Nico Tinbergen studied a lot about them in ethology, and these are the same stickleback fishes, and in them the nest building behavior is performed by the not by the females but by the males, and a particular level of testosterone was required to have that maternal instinct, that instinct of starting to make the nest in anticipation of egg laying. Apart from this, there are certain other behaviors also which are controlled by various hormones. For example, dominance behavior. You must have heard about social groups. Some animals like chimpanzees and monkeys, even chicken and mice, they have certain social groups. They have certain set social organizations in their groups. They live in groups, and those groups, they have certain statures. They have a hierarchy. So those animals which are at the top of the hierarchy, they have high levels of testosterone compared to those individuals which are at the lower rung of the hierarchy. And it was also shown that if an individual which was at the lower rank of hierarchy was administered with testosterone, its hierarchy increased tremendously, and it could reach the higher levels of hierarchy in its social organization. Similarly, territorial behavior. So in male stickleback fish, it vigorously defends its territory. It makes nest, and it does the copulatory or the courtship behavior. Zigzag dance is also shown only under the influence of hormone. Okay, the same goes for the male and female gerbils who secrete certain pheromones to mark their territories. So the territory marking behavior is also influenced by hormones. In certain fishes, migration is also initiated by hormones, especially testosterone and thyroxine. So when the level of thyroxine and testosterone reaches a certain level in these fishes, they will start showing aggressive or restless behavior, and they will start to migrate. Similarly, in stickleback fishes, if there is certain amount of salt water, that salt water is somehow initiating thyroid secretion, by TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, by anterior pituitary, which will stimulate the thyroid gland, and this thyroid gland will start secreting thyroxine, and when this thyroxine level reaches a certain bit, it will start it will start the behavior of migration in that particular stickleback fish. So these all behaviors have been shown, which have been directly linked to the presence of hormones. Hope it was helpful. Thank you.